A little behind the scenes thing here on the Bob and Sheri show. Normally, almost every moment of the show is rehearsed and rehearsed several times. But every once in a while,
starting at
our
1 a.m.
exacting,
Yes.
our
off
exacting
script.
attention to
script.
detail is dropped. And I don't know about what Max is about to tell us. I've heard
Because he
Sheri
can only
tease it.
tell it once. He can only tell it once. That's how bad it is.
All right,
It's
but
bad
it- but
enough.
it was a
Bad enough I told Sheri
cringeworthy
about it
thing?
the first time. So I went to get some takeout food. So I they were ordered ahead, and I'm going there, and I have to wait for them to bring the food. And so there's a little bench where you sit, and then there's the shelves where they put the food, and then they call your name when that comes out. So I am sitting there and waiting, and this woman comes and sits down, and she sits near me. And as I'm waiting there, she said, "What did you order?" And I said, "Oh, I got the chicken with the sweet potato and the broccoli." I said, "It's very good." She says, "Have you had anything else?" I said, "No, I'm such a creature of habit. That's what I always get." She said, "I should eat sweet potato." She said, "But I really don't like sweet potato." And I said, "Well, I've kind of developed a taste for it." And then we talked a little bit more about what she got and that sort of thing. And then she asked me, she said, "Well, what do you do for a living?" And I said, "Well, I work in this radio show and I produce this podcast called True Weird Stuff." And I told her all about that. And then and I said, "Well, what do you do for a living?" And she said, "I'm an actress." And I said, "I'm an actor," which technically is true.
Yeah, it is true.
It is
It is
true.
true. You've acted
Not
in
technically, it is
commercials
true.
and plays.
Absolutely.
Oh, it gets better, y'all. Here it comes. Here it comes.
So I said, "Really?" I said, "Is that why you're in town?" And she said, "Yes." She said, "I'm filming this TV show. It's called Hunting Wives." And I went, "Oh. And I said, what else have you done?" And she said, "Have you ever heard of a TV show called This Is Us?" And I said, "Yes." And then I'm thinking to myself, I've never seen the show, but this person all of a sudden started looking vaguely familiar to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "What's your name? Can I follow you like on Instagram?" And she said, "Yes." She said, "My name is Chrissy Metz." I look at her Instagram page. She's got 1.9 million followers, which I said out loud. And of course, she was very nice. The thing about this is I could have sat and talked to her all night, but the cringiness of the fact that I announced that I too was an actor. Can I just tell you a little bit about Chrissy? Chrissy was nominated in 2017 for an Emmy Award and a Golden Globe. Do you know what
But
she
Max
won? She won a
did-
Screen Actors Guild Award in 2018 for her participation in This Is Us, and again in 2019 for This Is Us.
Max did tell Chrissy Metz of This Is Us, award-winning beloved actress, that he was the Sears termite man.
I told her, yes, I was the Sears termite guy, which
What'd she
is,
say?
of course, my crowning achievement.
What'd she say?
She was about as gracious as she could be during my incredibly cringy moment, Bob.
What a nice person she
was-
is, because
listen.
you know, with some actors or actresses, it could have gone the other. You don't know who I am. You flyover piece of nothing. That's really cool.
The thing about it is, what makes her such an engaging person, and you know what, she has a certain amount of self-assurance about her that is just that's just you can tell. And she's
Right.
also written like a children's book. She's done all kinds of things. She's been on all kinds of TV shows and on all kinds of movies and everything else.
Okay.
I was a used cow salesman for commercials for Piggly Wiggly supermarkets. I was the bank customer who said, "Hey, it's easy." And everywhere I go in town, people would say, "It's Mr. Easy." That's
But
that's my
Max,
claim to fame.
You know what's so awesome about this encounter? Chrissy Metz turns out to be exactly who you hoped she would be if you're a fan of
Yes.
Chrissy Metz. Like I was just over the moon. I'm dying of secondhand embarrassment for you, but I was over the moon that she was exactly who I hoped she would be.
When I said to Sheri, I said, "Do you know who Chrissy Metz is?" She would say, "Oh, I love Chrissy Metz." And I went, Well, just better.
Sign up for our newsletter. We never spam you.
Never did.
Get Bob and Sheri exclusives. Just go to bobandsheri.com.
So Kevin and I lost power for like 15 hours the other night, and it went out at about 3:30 in the afternoon. So, we're like, well, so I waited a couple of hours, power not coming back on. I checked the power outage map. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people are without power. And I can tell just by looking at it that it's going to be a while. So I'm like, Kev, what do you want to do? You want to make out? You want to play a board game? What do you want to do? And the shock on that man's face. And he's like, do I want to make out? I'm like, yeah, you want to make out? And he's like, what do you mean? Oh, have things fallen to that point?
He dodged it? Is that what you
He didn't dodge it. He just couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe it was happening.
It's a
And
trick.
so I was like,
It's
oh.
a trick.
That's what he said. He was like, it was like Admiral, what's his head in Star Wars? It's a trap. He's like, you could tell he was processing. By make out, does she mean talk about aliens? By make out, does she mean like organize the closet? Because it can't possibly be what I think of when I think of making out. But we are so it's almost a disgrace, like how technology dependent the two of us are, that we were literally like, I don't know, should we play Monopoly? Like we just sat there looking at each other. And I was in the kitchen and it was dark because we have a little generator, but obviously it only powers like a couple of things. So I'm in the kitchen and it's dark and I'm using the flashlight on my phone to look for whatever I was getting. And I thought, if civilization collapsed, it would be like this all the time. It would be dark inside the house and kind of stuffy because the AC isn't working. And it would be really, really quiet. And we would have to return to like frontier time activities. I guess we'd go to bed at sundown and get up at sunup like they did on Little House on the Prairie. And I suppose we're going to have to get a plow so Kevin can repair it in the evening while I darn our socks. And I'm standing there in the kitchen and thought, I hope not. Because
what kind of a generator
miss the
do you
heck out of
have?
the internet.
What kind of a generator do you have that doesn't give you light? I mean, what does it power?
Powers. It doesn't power everything in the house, and it doesn't power the lights in the kitchen. They're low voltage, and so they don't power on. It doesn't. It doesn't. It powers the heat, right? So in the wintertime, we're good. Like when Kev had his ortho surgery, the night I brought him home, we had no power, but we had heat because it powers our heat. But it doesn't power the AC. And it'll power the television, but the cable and internet were out. It powers the refrigerator.
Yeah.
It powers the microwave. But it doesn't, it can't run the whole house the way electricity can. And I just know, you get used to it. I've watched The Walking Dead for however many seasons. I know you get used to it. I just don't want to have to get used to it. Let's not let civilization collapse.
Called The Pioneers. And it is, we don't even stop to think what those people went through. These were a group of people that were pioneering in Ohio, like in the early 1700s, I guess. And just like you said, once the sun went down, that was it, pretty much. And there's nothing around but your cabin. And there's nowhere to go. I mean, that's it. The day is done.
It was very strange. And I'm not, as you know, I'm not used to going to sleep in a quiet room because that allows my thoughts to come out to play.
Yeah.
Those thoughts are not anything you want coming out to play. So not only were my thoughts allowed out to play the other night, but the rain was coming down and there was thunder cracking and you could hear the trees banging against the house and my thoughts.
Yeah, we're so spoiled.
I need
We are so spoiled. Yeah.
I need electricity and cable.